Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to this closing session of ETOA's inaugural month dedicated to the Indian outbound market to Europe. I'm Aaron Wiltshire, Commercial Director here at ETOA, and I'm joined by Tom Jenkins, our CEO. So we were just going to take a few moments to reflect on what's happened in the last month, what we've learned, what we've achieved, and the building blocks we've put in place to really develop the market as we go forward. So as I said, this is the first year that we've had a whole month dedicated to the market. We've done bits and pieces in the past through our either online events dedicated to Asia Pacific more generally, or during our time at our partner show OTM Mumbai. But this year we brought together networking, insights, opportunities for our members to showcase their products and services to our members, to the Indian market. So we just wanted to take a moment to reflect on what we've achieved. So I'm just going to take us through what we've done, just as a resume, and then we'll have a conversation about what we've learned on the journey. So I've got a few slides to make it a little bit interesting in terms of what we achieved here. So let me just share that. I'll just share all the slides. So we had in-person networking in Mumbai. We had our very first B2B networking workshop just before OTM Mumbai. We brought in 20 suppliers from Europe, and they met with two batches of 20 operators from the Indian outbound market. So we accomplished around 800 in-person meetings in our first edition over a single day, and that then led into our time at the OTM Mumbai show just at the first week of February. So on the stand, we had an improved ETOA stand, and we had 8 of our partners with us. So kind of in total, we took over 20 businesses from Europe, meeting with the buyers that we had involved in the program. Then we had the online program. So we've really designed this setup in the Showcase Outbound series that really can align with your level of interest, investment, and targets for the given markets. And obviously this month was dedicated to India. So we had the online program too, which allowed for 2 sessions of online networking, over 7 hours of insight content, and then a series of 5 product presentations from different partners and destinations that we had on board with us. So we had free flow networking also throughout the month as well. So in terms of the totals we're talking about, we had just under 100 buyers directly involved in the program. As I said, 40 suppliers across the show, the in-person and the online program, resulting in 800 in-person meetings, just over 300 additional online meetings scheduled in the structured networking, and 250 kind of one-to-one connections made on the Meeting Hub connections on top of that. So in terms of then the outputs of this, I was really taken by your friend in Reykjavik, our friend Valor, posted this yesterday, the cards that he collected during his time in Mumbai to scale with the banana that he shared. So it really just goes to show, we'll talk about then what that means in terms of quality and then the eventual business, the diamonds in the rough of those huge number of contacts that have been made by our partners as we made those connections on behalf of our members. Of course, on top of that is the insights and the product presentation. So we've had a really interesting array of sessions across the practicalities from mice and the different channels that are useful for people to connect with the Indian outbound market, to the stats and figures and case studies, really hopefully useful things that then will be summarized in handbooks that will be soon to be published now that we've come to the end of the program. So none of this would have been possible without PB and his team at Auxilia. So I just want to give a shout out to him and his support throughout the month. You've seen his face a lot during the different sessions during the month. So always he manages our membership in market, but if you need any additional help, then please do reach out to him or via our own dedicated india@etoa.org email address. So that's the summary of what we've done this month. I think from my side, in terms of lessons learned, I think notwithstanding kind of the changes we'll make, the slight tweaks year on year to what we'll offer our members in terms of the networking opportunities. I think the in-person obviously is the most enriching, if not sometimes overwhelming, and that's why we've offered the more gentler B2B networking, followed by the rather intense show in Mumbai. But I think fundamentally it's the flexibility, the availability, and the openness to the market will reap rewards, whatever your business objectives are. And I think that's also been reflected in the sessions that we've had as well. More of which now Tom will talk about with regards to the sessions and the summaries that we've had. Over to you, Tom.
Thank you, Aaron. I think, and thank you, PB, as well, because his involvement has been central, as has yours, it has to be said. I would stress that I thought your image of the banana, which I think will now go down in the annals of ETOA of being an extraordinary, striking image, gives you an idea of quite the enthusiasm and dynamism that this market seems to display. Our arrival there 2 years ago, we were taken interest that there was for Europe as a destination. And what's become apparent over the last month is, and I hope we've illustrated this adequately, that the size of the market, and India is now famously the most populous country on earth, but also the dynamism of the market. It's growing very, very fast. And unlike all other big markets, it's not suffering from any demographic time, but lots of young people coming in, wanting to make money, wanting to do things, wanting to get ahead. And also, it's not a market which is dominated by people, I suppose, my age. It's actually a market which has got lots of young people flowing into it. And this is what makes it in some ways unique and makes it very, very interesting. I would just ponder on some salient points which have come out through the main discussions that we've been having. I think one is India is now on the stage. It's now one of the big principal markets for Europe globally. And it's not going to go away. It's definitely becoming more and more important as the years roll by. Secondly, the growth is completely structural. It's not something where we're having flashes in the pans. I think you're going to find that this growth is going to continue and build on itself. It's not going to be a cyclical phenomenon. It's simply going to be there and growing in importance. I think the other thing to stress is that it's not all low cost. There's some quite manifestly some people who are prepared to spend money on coming to Europe. The only caveat, and that was made repeatedly during the different engagements we had on this subject, is that these are smart customers. This is a value-driven market. It's not necessarily a luxury-driven market. It's one where they're prepared to spend money, but they do expect quality from the suppliers. Just as an aside, this was manifest in our discussions as well. Luxury is not a particularly smart buy in Europe. I probably should come up with a different expression for that. But you can obtain luxury in Asia at a much, much more reduced price than you can in Europe. And it means that Europe has got to find a way of delivering good quality, 4-star, clean, efficient, in the right location hotels in a way that the Indian market will respond to. They'll buy, but will they be happy and really come back saying recommend a return? That's an open question. It's something that the TripAdvisor commentator pointed on, that the experience of coming to Europe was a very high score. I think it was about 4.5 out of 10 from a huge sample size they had. But satisfaction with the food and satisfaction with the accommodation was markedly lower. And this is a challenge that Europe has got to rise to. The other thing that came out, and this is very, very familiar to people who've been following ETOA for a while, is visas are a major issue. Even the Schengen visa, which is in some ways a benchmark, a good visa, has 26, covers a multitude of countries in Europe, is regarded as being very bureaucratic and time consuming. And you can multiply that by a factor of 2 if you're looking at a UK visa. So the fact that certain countries are able to process is major plus, and it's one of the areas where, for instance, Switzerland has been scoring major advantage, is achieving major advantages. The point that PB kept making throughout it is that India is not just Calicut, Delhi, Mumbai. The tier 2 cities, the tier 3 cities is where the growth is going to be coming from. And the connectivity, particularly with the arrival of long-haul comparatively smaller jets, is going to open up India to coming directly into Europe. And this phenomenon is not going to slow down, it's going to increase. So you're going to find a lot of the growth taking place outside the principal areas that we've heard about and you know about. The other thing to keep noticing is that the thing that is not just bucket list destinations. Having said that, bucket huge importance. Do not ignore them, but also make sure that there is proper, to use the new experiential features as well. They're looking for something which enables them to be culturally immersive, as they say. This is not atypical. Sorry, this is not untypical of any other destination that is out there. But with India, it is valid, and you need to mark it. Thirdly, I would stress that India is still quite traditional. It's dynamic. It's changing in terms of the way in which people are readily using new technology, and we expect it to be almost distribution channels in the next 4 to 5 years. But in which the travel market works. So things like travel advisors, travel agents, wholesale tour operators, distribution channels are not just still valid, they are valid, and you really need to try and find partners in India to help you distribute your product if that's what you want to do. The other thing, and it's worth emphasizing for every market, but India as well, is that although Indians are more familiar with Europe and European wars than nearly any other Asian country, it's really important to provide them with some home comforts. They're not different from any other traveler in the world, that they want to have the things that make them feel at ease when they're on holiday. So make sure that you've got proper provision of vegetarian food. Make sure that you've got an ability to take shoes off and have slippers inside the rooms. All the little things that doesn't really cost very much, but make sure that these are available because it is appreciated. It is noted and appreciated. And I think the other thing to emphasize is that to get a return in this market, you've got lots of people competing with one another. These people know how to negotiate. If you want to have a return in this market, it will take time. It's not going to be an instant win for you to enter this thing. You've got to get there. You've got to get networks. You've got to build up personal relationships. And the last thing is just to reassure everyone is that Europe has a fantastic brand advantage in India. It's very prestigious. It's seen as extremely desirable to go on a European tour. And I think we can be confident that the product we've got here, if we can look at Europe as a product, has real legs and real prospects there. Aaron, I don't know if you want to say any more on this, but I would just simply say I think this has been an excellent initiative, and I'm very much looking forward to this growing and expanding next year.
Yeah, I think we need to thank our members as well as the people who have supported the program in terms of getting us here with the kind of trust, knowing that it was a brand new program put together that obviously we're learning as we go, but the overall objective is to make sure that the business environment and that the awareness of it and the opportunity to make those connections is there. So hopefully across the breadth of what we've put together, that answers that question. And I think year on year, it's for the taking. So I think this year we're in our 7th year of doing things in China, and we're now over 150 buyers with our in-market event. So I think from hopefully the Indian market actions that we're pursuing will mirror that trajectory, maybe even quicker as we bring it forward. So I guess just as to reiterate the outputs of that, hopefully there's business taking place from everybody's networking off the back of this. We're always on hand to support any ad hoc connections that we need to make. So if you're a member, then we can make sure that if you've got any ad hoc connection requests, we can do that. I think I've never been busier on my WhatsApp during this last month working with the Indian market, and that's been kind of red hot, connecting the buyers and suppliers who want to connect. But we'll be publishing the handbook. So that will be your guide for the next year of everything that we've talked about this month, the directory of everybody who's participated, and that'll be a useful kind of exclusive guide for everybody who's participated in the India month going forward. And then as we build up for our next year's edition, any changes to the format or approach will be publicised presently. So, but just on that note, just want to highlight what comes next. This is the only edition where we go from 1 month into the next. So this afternoon we'll be launching the similar program for North America. Each of our Showcase Outbound series has a slightly different dynamic and will be completely online apart from a social in New York during the month of March. But we'll be talking about everything Canada, USA and Mexico throughout the next 31 days. And then in May, we'll be in China for a 3-city roadshow, as I said, with around 150 buyers across those markets, also online, also at the ITB Shanghai in partnership with ETC on their Visit Europe stand. So that we have, again, much like we did for the Indian market, exhibition options, B2B networking options, and then the online program too. And then come September, we'll be doing the same in Japan. I think that's probably it's one of our most traditional markets at ETOA, but really a bigger step with regards to our actions for that market, with regards to being actually in market with online networking and participation at Tour Expo in Tokyo, as I said, at the end of September. So that was just a little promo for the things to come. But again, thank you for everybody who supported this month. We're always open for feedback, so do send us any queries or messages of support. I mean, we always, the photo with the banana, I think that will be the main summary that we'll take away from this for this month. And again, thanks to PB and the Auxilia team too. Tom, unless you've got anything else, we'll draw that to a close, I think.
No, I would just thank you and thank everybody who's taken part. As Aaron said, we've got 3 showcases coming up, but we've also got, don't forget, we've also got the new Shoulder and Off Peak event that we've got in London. So this is the start of a whole round of discussions about European tourism and different aspects of European tourism. But I very much look forward to everyone joining us there. So thank you very much too.
Thank you all. Catch you soon. Bye-bye.